This is TOS Television, your digital-first Pan-African news network. I am Abigail Okwade, and this is Africa Now. Armed men kidnapped 73 children from a high school in the northwestern Nigerian state of Zamfara in the latest series of school attacks targeting pupils in the region, according to the police in a statement on Wednesday. More than 1,000 students have been kidnapped from schools in northern Nigeria since December, with gunmen demanding large ransom payments from parents. While most pupils ultimately have been released, some have died or have been killed in captivity. Zamfara's government has ordered all statewide schools to close to prevent further attacks, and the police said they also have increased security around Kaya to prevent further attacks on the community. Suspected Islamist militants ambushed a convoy in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo on Wednesday, killed 4 civilians, took dozens of hostages, and set fire to the vehicles afterwards, the government said. About 80 people were believed to be missing after the attack on the convoy of about 100 vehicles that was traveling with army protection on the road between the cities of Beni and Butembo. Despite the government's imposition of martial law in Ituri and North Kivu province at the beginning of May, attacks by a Ugandan Islamic group called the Allied Democratic Forces have continued unabated. The Ministry of Communications on Twitter said Congo's army has freed more than 50 of the hostages, and operations are underway to recover the remaining captives. And away from security, profits gotten from the sale of a beachfront mansion in California belonging to Deodoren Nguema Obiang Mangay, the eldest son of Equatorial Guinea's president, that was part of millions of dollars worth of assets seized by the United States Department of Justice in 2011, will be used to fund the purchase of COVID-19 vaccines. After years of negotiations, the U.S. Department of Justice transferred $19.3 million of the $300 million in assets forfeited by Theodorin to the United Nations to pay for 1.2 million Moderna COVID-19 vaccine doses through COVAX for around 1.2 million Equatorial Guineans yet to be vaccinated. Theodorin, who is now vice president, has been aggressively defended by the Equatorial Guinea government that dismissed the international corruption investigations as neo-colonialist interference in the country's politics. President Muhammadu Buhari of Nigeria has reshuffled his cabinet formed on August 21, 2019, and also fired 2 ministers. According to presidential spokesperson Femi Adesina on his Facebook page on Wednesday, the president, in a statement to the cabinet members, announced that Mohammed Sabo, Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, and Engineer Saleh Maman, Minister of Power, were leaving the cabinet. The president said the changes follow the tradition of subjecting the project and programs implementation to independent and critical self-review through sector reporting during cabinet meetings and at retreats. The World Health Organization is monitoring a new coronavirus variant called Mu, which the agency says has mutations that have the potential to evade immunity provided by a previous COVID-19 infection or vaccination. The variant contains genetic mutations that indicate natural immunity. Current vaccines or monoclonal antibody treatments may not work as well as against it as they do against the original ancestral virus, the WHO said. The Mu strain needs further study to confirm whether it will prove to be more contagious, more deadly, or more resistant to current vaccines and treatments. This is your digital-first Pan-African news network, TOS Television. You are watching Africa Now. We move to business after the break. So stay tuned. Welcome back. In business, South Africa's rand continues to strengthen on Thursday, with the US dollar still on the back foot as investors follow clues around when the Federal Reserve could start winding down its massive COVID-19 stimulus. At 7:05 GMT, the rand traded at 14.3500 against the dollar, 0.35% stronger than its previous close. Locally, investors are watching upcoming PMI surveys for clues about the pace of recovery from the pandemic. The government of Tanzania has suspended the new fuel prices that came into effect on Wednesday, September 1, and the team has been formed to investigate the cause of rising prices. The acting director of the Energy and Water Regulatory Authority, Godfrey Chimbulonje, speaking in the parliament on Wednesday, says the prices caps for August will continue to apply, while the special team appointed by the government will investigate and look at the indicators that are causing prices to rise. This is the third time that oil prices have risen this year, since April. Egypt's smart city's new administrative capital on the outskirts of Cairo will be a world away from parts of the existing sprawling capital, where creaking infrastructure can mean patchy internet and phone coverage. Doormen at densely built apartment blocks form a human network of lookouts, and administrative errands can involve hours of queuing. Residents in the new capital will use smart cards and apps to unlock doors and make payments and surf the web on public Wi-Fi beamed from lampposts. The city, which is being built from scratch in the desert, is designed to hold 6.5 million residents and expected to open its first civil servants later this year. It's perceived by some Egyptians as being for the privileged elite in a country where nearly a third of the population live below the poverty line. Others see the technological boost as long overdue. Away from business, the exploitation of migrants in Africa and the protection of their human rights were among the topics discussed by officials on Wednesday at a conference looking at the impact of migration across the African continent. Representatives from the United Nations and the International Organization of Migration, as well as officials from African countries and the African Union, took part on Wednesday in the last day of two-day discussions on migration and human mobility inside and outside the continent. Speaking during the meeting, Felipe Gonzalez Morales, the UN Special Rapporteur on the human rights of migrants, said the coronavirus pandemic, conflict, food insecurity, and climate change were some of the major factors forcing people to move inside and outside the continent. And in sports, Sadio Mane took full advantage of his ability to represent his nation as Senegal beat Togo 2-0 on home soil in their opening Group H encounter as Africa's second round of World Cup qualifying began on Tuesday. Without their starman in an empty yet coronavirus Cairo arena, Egypt had to rely on a fifth-minute penalty from Mohamed Magdi Mossi against a busy Angolan side which fought to the very end. While the Pharaohs' place at the top Group F may be little surprise, that of Libya is, but the North Africans earned a much-savoured 2-1 win against Gabon on the plastic pitch of Benghazi. And that is Africa Now. For more updates, do visit our website at www.costvnetwork.com. Follow us and like our social media handles on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And remember to subscribe on YouTube to stay with us and enjoy more programs on COS Television Network. I am Abigail Ukmade. Thanks for watching.